Wave Master asked of the day, like, what's the point in lyricism? What's the point? The point is that nobody can do what I do. Fuck it, let's go. The first person on earth cursed with my secrets, only to regurgitate my work like you were secrets that hurt. But I was never concerned with the lesson. We were immortal, so I was never concerned with the blessing. I called mom like your daughter was gone. She wasn't shocked, like I just stepped off the plane. Let me get a hold of your pops and stop. How does she have control of this devil? Wait, I'm reporting. Guess the apple ain't pop off in the kennel, so now it's just paperwork. Logistics in Philly, identifying the body, recovering all her property, seeing if the mortician perm forcey hair properly. Wait, that part is where it got to me. Fucking where is monotony? This shit is just dumb. Called your phone 20 times saying pick up just once, but it was done. You already took your last breath, so now a picture on the wall, so that's left. Let's go.
It's the hope of every father that
Joaquin, you gotta remember,
their son can do better than they
we'll
ever
always be
did.
family and nothing will ever change that.
My mom told me a long time, look after my sister. Joaquin,
I love you.
look after yours.
I love the two of you.
DJ Unique.
Let's cut to the punch. Time for the sequel. They only been here for months. Shit. And I thought it would only be once. Children, I gotta thank God that we live in DR. Period. That is none in a million. Now we got a son in the building. As a father, want a daughter to walk the cotillions. But I feel like I'ma fucking get lost in the ceiling. What if cheerleading has lost its appealing? I'm your father, providing is my first task. Trying to juggle changing diapers with the first cast. What if your spine is misaligned too? Mind you, this is how me and Hogan designed you. All I ask is that you giving your mother a break. We ain't eating, but she keeping the cuts on the plate. And no matter what disease the customers make, we will always be the seeds who covered in grace. Yes. Life has a way of, I wish I could tell you that, in a position that you could never see yourself in. The only thing that I want for you to live your best life. Once you step on this earth, your only goal is to be better than who you ever were.
By the way, what does redacted mean?
Hell yeah. Welcome back to Redacted Media, where we bring you the content as long as you mind your business. And I don't think one of our mics is working, so I'm going to fix that presently. Yeah.
Probably mine.
Let's see. Mine is good. Tap yours.
Tappity tap tap.
Nope. Let me go over here. Was it properties? Yeah. It might be trying to come to the freaking webcam. What the fuck? We back. Technical difficulties. Let's go. Yours is like not one to connect. Oh, this
It came out again.
wire is terrible. I'll have a new wire next week. How about that? Green.
Right now we're pulsing, and well, testing. Testing. It's lighting up when I'm talking. Yeah. It's not going all the way across like it normally does, but
so. I'm gonna check the YouTube video. Fuck it. I've been recording for a long time, and it's really working.
testing. It's lighting up.
There you go. Good.
All right.
All right. And we're really back.
For
Technical
realsies.
difficulties. The technical difficulties episode of Redacted Media. We've had plenty. So this isn't a new thing. If you've been here for any amount of time,
It's part of the ride.
Yeah, it's part of the charm. You know, you
Yeah.
don't want to see like professional people doing this. Like,
No.
I'm doing this in my fucking basement. You know.
Yeah.
You're recording off my iPhone and a fucking webcam.
Yeah.
Like, come on
like,
now.
You know, it gives it character.
Caricature, right?
Yeah. It gives us grit.
But welcome back. We are back for our 5th episode. Wizard and Glass. I didn't know we had already done 5 of these suckers.
Oh damn.
Like big book, but still 5 episodes for that. whatever. It's been fun so far. We left off with our 5th episode, sorry. Breaking Down Wizard and Glass by Stephen King. Stephen King's magnum opus, The Dark Tower. Also, we bring the content. You shut up. And I am Redacted, a.k.a. Alarmer, Big Country, Rimraw, whatever you want to call me. And this is my co-host,
The good kid, Jake.
the good kid, Jake. I wish I had a hat that said good kid. I'd wear that to every family function. Let them know.
Just like a reminder.
Yeah, I'm the good one.
Yeah.
Y'all suck.
Like I'm sitting next to my siblings and like,
Yeah, this one right here.
Yeah.
That's me. But we're breaking down Wizard and Glass, starting with Bird and Bear and Hare and Fish. Roland and Susan just made out at Sitgo.
rolled around the oil patch.
That's just, you smelled like crude oil before?
Yeah,
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It stinks so bad.
It's sexy.
I'm kind of a fan of gasoline, but not of just raw oil.
Right.
Like, it's just gross.
Yeah.
Like, yuck. I don't want to be here.
Yep.
But yeah, I guess if you're like 14 and
Yeah, they
getting
just
down
don't
with the
care.
get down, yeah.
Yeah, their hormones are raging so hard. They're like, we could be fucking on rocks. Who cares?
Fucking A.
So this chapter starts off with, I believe this is the one that starts off with Susan getting like approached by the lady from the mayor's house.
Yes.
Like I accidentally tried to go through last time. She, I think the lady's name is Maria.
Mm-hmm.
She comes up and is like, "Yo, Susan, it's fucked up, man," and like she's almost like crying, saying like, "Oh shit, the world's gonna end because your dress is fucked up. We gotta go now."
Yeah.
And that was more of a show for Aunt Cord. She was like, actually, it's not that bad. It's just, like your second dress out of 7, and it's, it's just the hangout dress.
For sure.
And then she starts talking about how like it got torn up, and she's like, "Yeah, it looks like it got like all chewed up and ripped and stuff, and it was the mayor's dog." And I know that because I smelled dog farts.
I forgot about that. What? Oh my god! What are we doing?
I was like, that is, you have such a specific nose.
What are we doing here, King? Why do you include that?
I walked into the room and I smelled me some pepperoni dog farts,
Yeah.
and I was like, that dude's been in here, that little stinker.
Fuck you, bad. That's the fart of a dog right there. Jesus. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah, and like, I mean, I have Boston Terriers, and they're known for being super gassy, but like, I don't know if I could tell that it was their fart versus somebody else farted.
Yeah.
And it probably wouldn't linger for like minutes after they left the room.
Yeah, after they just tore, unless they were just in there just farting it up for, I mean, hours. You know?
They trapped this dog in a closet, and like they deserve to get their dress torn up if that's the case, honestly.
Yeah, it was a small room of just dresses. Maybe like a 3x3 closet. And he's just in there eating and farting.
And anyways, so they're like, yeah, but we do need to fit you to make some alterations to this other dress. So let's go. And we cut back to later that evening, and Susan is like kind of walking home, and the mood is instantly changed. Like something has happened. And this is when Aunt Cord's like, "Girl, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you all gloomy? You got to go try on dresses. You had a nice, fun day. What's your problem?"
Yeah.
And surprisingly, I kind of expected, or after reading this, I kind of would have expected Susan to just be like, "Nothing, Cord," like because she wouldn't expect Cord to like really care or believe her.
Yeah.
But she decides to go into detail and was like, "Well, you see," and then we jump back to the flashback.
Yeah. In the middle of a flashback story.
Right,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Basically, they were measuring her for the dress and trying everything on, and the maid had to like step out for a moment, and then old creepy Grandpa Mayer walked in, and he decided to get a little fingery.
Yeah.
Creepy grab.
Yeah, he basically has his way.
Yeah, he feels her up,
Yeah.
and then pulls a Lonely Island and just in his pants. and then walks off.
She says she almost gets thrown through a wall, and I'm like, oh my
Yeah, he's
god.
like pushing her up against the wall and
Now,
like dry humping her basically.
did you read this or was this audiobook?
I listened to the audiobook.
It's wild.
It's rough.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Like the voice this guy has for Mayor Thorne.
They didn't make it any easier.
Oh my god. I've told you the story about why I like really dislike well, not really dislike, but just Needful Things, right?
Yeah.
That Stephen King actually reads the audiobook.
Yeah.
And there's a girl in there that has an orgasm thinking about Elvis, and it's Stephen King.
About that.
You remember this? It's Stephen King writing this and then reading it and trying to like act it. It's fucking atrocious. It's so bad.
Oh my god.
It's the worst thing you've ever heard,
Yeah.
but you need to hear it. You know,
Yeah.
like it's a rite of passage. If you have like read any King books, you have to go and listen to the man have an orgasm as a woman. It's amazing.
It's something.
It's oh god, he's I think that if you're a writer, you're gonna have these moments, right? That where you will, especially if you are a prolific writer, you have to like try to have some kind of confidence and
Yeah.
put things out there in the world that are base. I don't know how I want to put it, just like that are new and like you and maybe a little risky
Yeah.
and like vulnerable.
Yeah.
King does it like unabashedly, and I think he misses the mark every time, and it's fucking hilarious. Like, we don't need this.
The man does not lack in confidence.
Yes, and it's like, just wow. I wish I had an ounce of that, because with a whole gallon, you know, I'd be fucking a shit show. Just a little bit of that confidence would be.
Right, like, you know, a little bit of a little lack of self-confidence kind of goes a long way, actually.
Yeah, for sure. You get to be a little bit more have a little more perspective when you're not that confident. Like,
Right.
how are people going to perceive this? And should I be doing this?
Right. Is this as good as I think it is?
Is this worth the paper that is going to be printed on?
Right.
Probably not.
I wonder if he's like, orgasms at the thought of Elvis. Genius. Put it
Gotta
down.
do it. Gotta do
Yeah.
it. And I wonder if he's like, is he trying to build character through this? Is he trying to show us something about this character that they're maybe not despicable, but they are not weird, but just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is he trying to show us something about Mayor Thorne, that he is a creepy old man, but it's been accomplished, you know?
Yeah.
Where I say, you know, he's super skinny, his knuckles crack whenever he walks or whatever the fuck it is, right?
Yeah.
We didn't need him to.
Like, maybe it's just because we've seen her perception of thinking of him as creepy old man
Yeah.
without any action.
Yeah.
And so he wanted to give us some proof.
Yeah.
But I would have believed it without the proof.
I'm trying to think of like the best sex scene that King has written, because he has a lot, and they're not ever that good.
Yeah, that's... You know, I'm still pretty new to King as a whole, but the ones I've read,
They're not great.
and that's a common criticism I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're just strange usually.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's more realistic. That sex is awkward at its point, you know. Between
Yeah.
it's not what you see on fucking Pornhub or whatever, you know. Like it can be awkward, it can be strange. This is oh my god, this is a fucking big tangent. But in Pet Sematary, like after Doc, the main guy, I forget his fucking name actually in there, but he has a kid that gets fucking ran over while jogging on his first day as a campus hospital guy, right?
Oh,
Gets
shit.
fucking destroyed, right? And he's coming in like his head is leaking, like this kid is gone. He comes in and he's like laying on his doctor's office. He gets pulled in there by his friends or whatever. And as this kid's laying there dying, he gets like possessed by a fucking demon and starts talking to the doc, like calling him by name and like telling him, "Don't go out to the pet cemetery. It's all bad." Da 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 da. Terrible, crazy day. He's like going through it. He comes home. And I guess his wife like sent the kids to the neighbors and decides to just give him a hand job in the bathtub. And it's in great detail of like this scrubby brush that she's using. Like it's like a mitten. It's like a loofah mitten. And it's like we get details of like texture of it. And oh, it's so strange.
That can't feel good.
It can't. It can't. And I'm like,
Like, as soon as you said scrubby, I was like, no,
Yeah.
no scrubby down there, please.
oh, it's insane. those are one of the books that like are. As I said, like sometimes I want to like just go back and watch Inside by Bo Burnham when I'm like in like a low mental state.
Yeah.
Pet Cemetery is kind of one of those ones I enjoy, like kind of digging on. It's like having a stomach ache and then going to Taco Bell. I kind of do that sometimes. Just like let's get this out of the way and kind of push through it and come out on the other side. And I was doing this like a couple months ago, listening to Pet Cemetery. I was like, I'm in too good a mental space for this.
I'm too healthy right now.
Yeah, I'm not depressed enough to be listening to this because it's a fucked up book. It's bad. Like it, just if you're a normal person, you know. But okay, tangent aside, Mayor Thorne came in his pants, and Susan is not happy about it.
Yeah, and then she tells this whole story to Cordelia, and she didn't get it. She's like, "What's the problem? He didn't actually do anything to you."
Yeah.
Like, and he's going to do more with you later, and you agreed to it, so why are you getting upset by this now? This is just teasing. This is just foreplay. It's
Have
the
we-
actual stuff.
Have we said how old Susan is? She was what, like 17, I think.
I think at one point it said that Roland was 14 and she was 15, or maybe it was
Okay.
15 and 16.
Okay. Whatever. But
Like,
that big,
around that age, yeah.
that big of an age difference. This man has to be
Right.
nasty. Like you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It just relevant in the news. I just got reminded of Dane Cook because I shared a thing making fun of him earlier.
That's so
But no
wild.
tangents.
That's so wild.
Yeah,
What was
it's-
it? Comedians in cars dropping their girlfriends off at high school? Fucking killed me.
He fell in love with her the day she turned 18, not
Yeah.
a second before.
Which, just because it's legal doesn't make it
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. It doesn't make it not gross. It's like, you're safe by law, but not by opinion.
You can't have a beer with this lady.
Right.
That's crazy. You have a child that you then fuck, basically.
Yeah.
I mean-
that's what's going on.
Ugh. What? I wouldn't want to date an 18-year-old right now. I'm only 30.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a kid.
Yeah.
Like, oh, thank you.
Okay.
Like, yeah. No, that's weird.
I think at this age, 5 years older, 5 years younger is about like where my ballpark is. I'd
Right.
maybe go down to like 23 if I like had like a really good connection with somebody, or up to like 40. You know.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd reach much further than that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Tangents.
Tangents.
This might be a tangent episode. Fuck it.
We're only actually covering one chapter today.
I said not much happens, but it's kind of a the appetizer. We're setting our palate for the rest of the book right here.
Yeah. But yeah, so after they kind of argue about that, she runs off to her room, and Cordelia just stays downstairs being like, stupid kid.
Mm-hmm.
And we skip to, I think later that night even, Susan kind of leaves and is like, I want to ride my horse to go calm my mind. And of course she runs into Roland.
Of course she does. In this vast countryside.
They just, well, what are you doing here?
Yeah. It's calm, man. Comes like a storm.
Yeah. And they, are talking. I think she relays the story to him. And instead of yelling at her and blaming her like Grant does, he's a decent person.
Imagine, right?
Right.
Imagine.
And there's just really kind of a lot of them talking and feeling emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And then they decide to be horny teenagers.
Yeah.
And they, start making out and rolling around in the moss.
Yep.
And eventually one thing leads to another, and
Let's get it on.
they decide to get it on.
How do you feel about the line that is repeated just 1,000 times in this goddamn book? If you love me, then love me. Is it a bar, so to say? Is it like...
It's fine once or twice. They do kind of say it a lot.
And I think that this is a little bit of when I first listened to this, probably like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the audiobook guy, kind of repeating it and saying it in the same, cadence every single time. Now it's kind of like, okay, maybe it's just because I've read this book multiple times and I'm kind of, sick of it. Not sick of it, but of those little things. It doesn't rub me as well anymore. I'm like, eh.
No, I get that. Like, it might just be, the phrase really stuck with him.
Mm-hmm.
I've picked that up in like a few other series I've read as well. Like a famous one is like from the Wheel of Time series. The like girls from their like hometown, like where all the main characters are from.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a thing about like having long braids and stuff. And so those girls particularly, like whenever they're nervous or thinking, they'll say they tug on their braid. And he repeats that phrase a lot. And it just kind of like, it kind of becomes a thing where you're like, he probably didn't even realize he was doing it anymore. But people like to clown, like make a joke of it now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she's tugging on her braid. Or another like one that he'll do is like when people cross their arms, like put their hands under their breasts or something is the way he'll describe it. Which like
that's such a weird way to describe it though.
Right. And then I started reading this other book series where every time people shake hands, he writes that they clasp wrists.
So they shake up here.
Right, that's what I don't think that's what he meant. But
is it a modern book? Like, is this?
It's like a fantasy thing.
It might be clasping wrists then. I mean,
but it's also like the main character is a dude from our future who got like brought into this world or something. It's kind of silly, but he doesn't question it all. They just clasp wrists, and I'm like, every single person, that's just how they shake hands. I'm like, I think that. Do you mean they clasp palms? I don't know. It's.
Objectively, it's a very cool way to shake hands.
Yeah.
If you were to clasp wrists.
Yeah, everybody does the predator handshake,
Predator handshake.
Oh, yeah, from like when the big muscly guys in Predator, like.
Oh, yeah. That's funny. That's exactly what it is, though.
Yeah. That's
fucking hilarious. Oh, my God. Yeah, what a great way to put it.
And so maybe that phrase was just one that like stuck in his head.
Yeah.
Or maybe he is trying to like, do like a repeated theme or something. But he does say it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking back at this book, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
yes. Yeah, it's I think I'm being as meticulous and like mean about this book as I have ever been reading it this time, just to like try to find things that do actually bother me, and that's one of the ones that I'm just like I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. It feels like something that should have been in like a movie trailer or like fucking written on the
That
like,
is a movie trailer line.
If you love
me, then love me.
yeah, like it's just like it's also written in the 80s.
Yeah.
So, or early 90s I think this one is. Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Yeah. That is very much a movie trailer line.
It's like a whole bunch of snap snap together scenes where it show her, if you love me, then love me, and a tale of the oldest time.
A tale as old as time. Oh, I love that phrase. That's always funny to me.
Okay, so they finally do it. What? I'm not necessarily like a literature nerd by any means, or like a huge I love the classics. The similarity between this and Romeo and Juliet, how are you feeling?
I didn't really think about it too much until you had said something about it last week.
Okay.
But I kind of always think about the the warring family kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like he has to keep it a secret from everyone, so does she. But so like that's the part I always think about with Romeo and Juliet.
Mm-hmm.
And then the killing each other immediately afterwards thing.
For sure.
But I have noticed the similarities. Yeah,
it misses the mark on the tale of the Capulets and the Montagues. Holy shit! I can't believe I fucking remember that. I don't think he's trying, but anytime that there are like these young lovers that are not supposed to be together,
right?
You have to kind of think of it, and I think that there are some. They're more sensible than Romeo and Juliet ever have been, because good lord, are they idiots?
These two are. That's one of my criticisms of one of the later chapters we're gonna cover. Is like they're sensible to a fault, like to Stephen King's fault, I think. But we'll get into that part later.
For sure. Yeah, let's discuss it later. I'm interested to hear what you say.
They're too sensible to be realistic, is what I think.
Okay.
But yeah, so they do the stuff, and later they're like kind of sleeping cuddling in the grass, and
which sounds absolutely terrible. I don't want to be butt ass in some grass.
No, that sounds very uncomfortable.
Chiggers, like
Right.
just ugh.
Like put a blanket down.
Yeah,
Like,
gross.
yeah.
Yuck. I'm sorry, I keep
No.
interjecting here.
No, that was really funny. Because then I just started like picturing the bugs like.
Oh,
no.
it be god awful. You know they
Yeah.
stink. Like,
Yeah.
they're-
Oh, absolutely. But Roland wakes up and like Susan's not there,
Yeah.
and so he's like, "Oh, did she leave? Well, no, her horse is here. So where'd the fuck she go?" And he starts walking around, and the whole time this part was going on, I was laughing because they are just butt naked.
Yeah.
Like, he finds her down by the river, like kind of looking through the water, and he's like, "What is she looking for?" And she pulls out like a sharp ass rock. She finds a rock that's been like whittled away and stuff. And Roland gets scared. He's like, "The fuck is she gonna do?" And then she like raises it up. And he's like, "The fuck's going on? Is she about to hurt herself? Was I that bad?"
Yeah, that's a blow to his masculinity right there. Yeah. You're so bad she killed herself. If this is all life is about, nah, I'm out.
But she is kind of in a daze. We find out that she has like, this is what Rhea had like hypnotized her to do. And she's about to like start lopping off her hair. But Roland runs up to her and like kind of like tackles the knife away from her a little bit, and kind of hurts her a little bit in the process, which is what makes her like snap out of it. And so she doesn't realize that he hurt her to keep her from hurting herself. And so she's just like, "Why would you hurt me? I thought you loved me." And it takes forever for him to explain like, "No, you were doing weird shit."
Yeah.
And she was just like, "But if you love me, why would you ever hurt me?"
It did feel kind of redundant.
Yeah.
Listening back to it.
It took a while to
Yeah.
get past that part.
I'm glad you said that because I want to say something about that I just, again, I didn't know if it was like, okay, I know what's going on here. Like, okay, let's get to the fucking point. But first time reader and you're still like,
Well, I'm like,
fucking get to it.
just say you're saying I was keeping that rock out of your hand.
Yeah.
Like I didn't just randomly hurt you.
And didn't she end up cutting some of her hair off?
She did chop like a small bit of it off. Yeah.
Yep.
And they kind of address that before they decide to get dressed and leave. It's small enough that where if her hair is just down like normal, you could notice it. But if she puts it into like a specific braid, she's able to hide it. Which I'm like, okay, somebody's gonna walk up on her.
Pull her hair out and be
With,
like a chunk
like-
missing or something.
Yeah, walk up on her without her hair put up or something like. Yeah, Cord's gonna see her in the morning when she's getting ready and be like, "What's wrong with your hair?"
Oh my God, you're missing hair. You must have slept rolling.
You cut some of your hair, you skank.
I love that this was Rhea's whole plan. That
Yeah.
just whenever the night that Mayor Thorne was going to go to bed with her, she was going to wake up and be bald.
Right.
Rhea's not that bad of a person. Like, I thought she'd have been way worse than that.
Right. Like, also was with Roland where I was like, oh, she's in a trance. She's gone and found something sharp,
You're going to try to kill herself.
trying to kill herself.
Yeah.
But no, Rhea just wanted to pull a prank on the mayor. She's just like, haha, you had sex with this, and now she's mangled herself and gotten all of her hair gone.
In a way that will grow back in a couple of months. Oh, no.
Whoa.
Oh, no. The world is
But
ended.
now she's just got a really bad short haircut.
Yeah,
Like,
like, if she were to be taken with child, she'd have a full head of hair by the time the kid is born.
right.
Like,
And it's like, Rhea, you're bad at this. Like, You're trying to be like mean and awful and like evil.
Yeah.
But it's like that. Like I'll see this on Reddit every once in a while. I'll be like, "What is the most evil thing that, like, the most evil but not evil thing you could wish on somebody?"
Yeah.
I wish they would stub their toe every morning.
That's worse. I'd rather cut my hair.
Right? It's like I wish
s-
they would just smell something bad every once in a while.
dog farts.
Yeah, dog farts. After you sleep with somebody for the first time, you will distinctly smell pepperoni dog farts.
Bacon bits. Or was it bacon strips? That's what it's called.
Oh God, the bacon strips.
But yeah, so Rhea is not great at plotting, it seems.
Yeah, that's. Just kind of made me think Austin Powers give me $1 million.
They're like,
That's
but
it.
it's traded every week on the NASDAQ. Like, what
Yeah,
are we
like-
doing here? Yeah. I guess,
In
like,
terms of grand evil plans, this is kind of.
it kind of misses the mark, you know? Like,
It was a little anticlimactic.
we have demons in a demon speaking ring in this story, and yeah, it kind of like the book changes. It keeps going. This isn't, the whole
Yeah.
climax, but yeah, it thinking about it in a vacuum, or not in a vacuum now, just like, yeah, that is kind of a lame thing for her to do.
Right, like, and there was like the build up to it where like we even got the cuts back to Rio where she was like, "Ooh, soon my plan will come to fruition," and she's thinking about how she like hypnotized her, and like the book never tells us what it was, and so we're like led up to be like, "Oh, something bad's gonna happen,"
Mm-hmm.
and then it's just like, I'm gonna cut my hair. Ooh,
Oh no! Please,
like,
heavens, no!
the people in this world and town are shitty enough where like the mayor probably would be like, "Oh, you gross, nasty harlot. Why would you do this? Why would you embarrass me like this?"
It probably could be like a public image thing that would have
Yeah.
been much more,
Right.
Yeah, I get it.
And like, you
You're
know,
still alive.
Cordelia would be mad at her,
Yeah.
but it'd be fine. It's not that big of a thing.
Not at all.
Like, she's not, like Rapunzel or something with like the magic hair. It's like just,
Samson.
yeah, she's not Samson.
Maybe she is. She was pretty strong, trying to take that rock from her.
Yeah.
We need somebody with superheroes come in this book. Come on now.
If you cut my hair, I shall not be able to have a baby anymore. That's her Samson superpower. Instead of super strength, it's super baby making abilities. Super hair related fertility.
Jesus Christ. All right.
But then I think that they just kind of get dressed and go on their way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think much else happens. I think we do have a thing where like Cord and Jonas talk for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really think it was that important. This time it was just kind of like setting up the fact that he is kind of planning to use her a little bit and like is kind of making a friendly, flirty relationship with her.
It was the meet cute.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
what they're trying to do here.
Yeah. Except like he knows that he doesn't really think that way. He's just like, this is a tool for my arsenal.
It's like this person knows things,
Yeah.
and she is desperate. So
Yeah.
I'm a guy. Let's roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of the chapter. And we go to the interlude, which was kind of cool.
Did you like it?
I liked it. It was kind of like, just a little like break away from the story.
Yeah.
It's taking a step out of the framing. And they do kind of mention a neat thing here. Eddie is talking to Roland, and he goes, "You've been telling this story for like 20 hours. It's still nighttime. What the hell?"
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Or is it? Maybe it just seems that way. Time is fucky here."
Yeah.
Not a lot of plot really happens. It's just kind of them like taking a break and having some small talk.
It felt like King was sitting there writing, and he was like, "Fuck, I gotta tell him about what's the quartet doing? Like, what's
Right.
going on here? I've been writing for so damn long, And I'm not even, about halfway through the book. So I gotta, okay, let's tell the reader what's going on.
One thing about it that I found hilarious is that, like, normally you would expect that, like, we're getting the full story like it's a novel, but in, like, the world of the characters, like, he's just kind of telling it, paraphrasing and telling the way he remembers and stuff, yada yada. Mm-hmm. Eddie is like, how do you know all this? How do you remember it in this much detail? There's parts where you're not even there and you're telling us this story. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like Roland is just word for word telling them what we're reading, which is really funny to me.
Could you imagine?
Because that is not how a flashback story would work in most books.
No, it'd be so basically. I went to this place called Hamburg. We were supposed to be doing all this. Oh shit, man, this guy named Jonas.
Yeah. But yeah, Eddie makes the remark like, it feels like you're telling us like you're reading a book or something, which is just really funny to me.
What was Roland's excuse for knowing what was happening whenever he wasn't there? I forget.
I kind of think he just brushed past it, if I remember right. Yeah. Like, he just kind of was like, don't worry about it. Like, either we'll get to that later or
it doesn't matter.
Or it doesn't matter, yeah. Like, he's just like, just how I'm telling you the story. Do you want to hear the story, or do you want to hear me tell you how I'm telling the story?
Yeah.
And Eddie's like, oh, I guess I'd rather you tell me the story than tell me how you're telling me the story.
Yeah. It felt good to hear Eddie's voice again. Even though it's an audio, but it still felt good to hear that Brooklyn or New York accent. That I was like, oh yeah.
And for me, it was a relief to kind of go back to the quartet, because I kind of don't like any of the characters in the flashback. Mm-hmm. Like, except for Cuthbert. But, like, Roland's being an idiot. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem with Elaine, but he just is there.
He's two-dimensional to me. He's not very fleshed out.
He's not really much of a character.
Yeah.
Like, there's not anything there to like or dislike. Mm-hmm. Susan's fine. Everybody else sucks. And I hate them.
I like Jonas as a character.
Jonas is very interesting, yeah.
So I like him, and like Reynolds and DePape. I like just here because they're just scumbags, and some like it's kind of like with the mafia guys with Balazar. Just kind of like I like this part of it, but there is a lot less Cuthbert than I fucking remember. Like there's I mean I understand it's a Rowan and Susan story, but Jesus Christ,
right? I need the goofy boy. Every once in a while, man.
Yeah, I need something here that's not just fucking yearning in your loins, like
just horny teenagers. Give me some plot, give me some goofy. They're just like, she's really looking cute over there right now.
I wonder, I haven't read many romance novels. Would this, if you take this, just give them this story, even without, the first part about Charlie Choo Choo and all that, and then this little interlude. Would people think this is a good romance story?
I think another author could, that is more skilled with romance stories, could probably make it one that people like.
Yeah.
I also haven't read too many just romance stories. To me, for the books I like, it kind of feels like romance is better as a condiment than a main ingredient. I wouldn't eat a ketchup sandwich, but I'd eat a sandwich with ketchup on it.
It's a very good way to put it.
I can't remember who I think it was the Rick and Morty creator guy.
Dan Harmon?
Yeah, he's made that comparison one time. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. But some people just like ketchup, and that's fine.
No, if you fucking eat a ketchup sandwich, get off my channel. Get the fuck out of here. Ugh. Yeah. I was happy to get back to the quartet.
Yeah.
Do you look any different at Roland now, going back to present day Roland? Do you feel any different about his character?
Not really. Okay. Everything feels pretty in character for him. And he hasn't done anything. Trying to think of hasn't done anything super. There haven't been any big revelations about him yet. Mm-hmm. It very much feels like, oh yeah, this could be the same guy 30-ish, 40-ish years ago.
Yeah.
But You know, it's interesting to see him, but I don't feel any different about him yet.
Okay.
I feel like the reactions he's always had about Susan and this town, I feel like there could be something very big that's going to come up that can make me feel a lot different about him, but not yet.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. I'm ready to get to the later parts of this book where things start picking up again.
Yeah.
Maybe it is because it's been like 3 months. So we've been reading the last 250 pages, you know?
Time's weird around here.
Yeah, time's weird. Oh, you're right. This has been a consecutive weeks. We haven't missed anything ever.
No, ever. No, we're perfect.
God, I'm so ready to get through this book. Like, even going back and like starting reading, I'm like, I know what we're going to get to, and it's nothing fun yet. It's just, yay, sex, cut your hair, Jonas. Here we go.
Yeah.
You know?
Cut your hair just a little bit. Like, just like a little snip.
Oh, no. Yeah. Did you have anything else with the flash or the flash forward, the interlude, whatever?
Nothing really stood out to me. It was kind of pretty short. It was just kind of like if this were a TV show, this would be like the minute or two before the credits, just like kind of cutting back to being like, wow, that's a crazy story, man.
Yeah, wow.
He's like, yeah, well, next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Wait until I tell you the next thing that happens.
Yeah.
Find out next week on Dragon Ball Z.
Will Cuthbert and Elaine ever get off the island? Will they become relevant?
His match with Jonas. All right.
Then we
Girl in the Window.
yeah.
Chapter 2.
Wait. No.
No.
Come Reap or Beneath
Oh, did I miss one?
Beneath the Hunter's Moon. Now we're back on to chapter 1 of
Oh, shit.
Section 2.
Okay.
Yeah, Come Reap chapter 1 Beneath the Hunter's Moon.
Oh, God, it really is on fucking like 2 pages. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Gotcha.
nothing.
Okay.
Um
I'm glad that he calls out that this is a boring part of the book here. Crack me up.
Yeah,
Like-
he kind of hits the fast forward button.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, they kind of screwed around and met up for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Um,
I do feel that way about a couple of shows. Like, once the characters get together, I don't really care anymore.
right.
It's Jim and Pam in The Office.
Yeah.
It falls off after they finally, like, not even just start dating. Once they get married, it's like, oh, it's a wrap. Like, I don't...
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
nothing interesting happens with Jim and Pam after that.
Yeah.
Until they just decide to go completely out of left field and make Jim be a total piece of shit.
I've seen takes that Jim has always been a piece of shit.
Oh, absolutely. Like
Yeah.
like looking back on that show, I'm like, how is he like one of my favorite characters? He sucks.
I think that is that has to be hindsight being 2020.
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
while the show was going on,
right.
first of all, picking on Dwight was warranted. I'm going to say that. Mental illness or not, social anxiety or not, Dwight was a fucking weirdo in the very
And he was
first
kind of a
episode.
douche too.
You know, like,
Yeah.
it was a back and forth. It was
Yeah.
not a bullying, in my opinion. It was a...
It was kind of a bullying,
Eh.
but it was also
Yeah.
like Dwight wasn't nice to him either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it was deserved from either end, but like, yeah, they were both kind of being douches at first.
It felt more like a brother rivalry.
Right.
Versus somebody actually, like, picking on somebody just for the fuck of it.
Right.
You know, because I think there was some respect there. I mean, even in like the very first couple of seasons, Dwight like steals Jim's big sale and he gives him his champagne. He was like trying to get the whole day on. I remember that fucking episode so well. But yeah, like I
And
don't
like
know.
when you see them have to work together.
They're fucking good at it too.
Yeah. Like when they go like out on the sales calls together and stuff.
Yeah. So
But it's like, yeah, we can't stand each other, but we're a good team.
and no one has ever made The Office content before, so this is perfect for you guys that are listening. And this is all new, and no one has ever heard it, and exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, God. I liked Drake, the rapper, in like 2008 before he got really big. Then he kind of blew up into stardom in like the early teens.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like, okay, I still like him. Same thing with The Office. I liked The Office around like season 3.
I don't think I started actually watching it until it was almost over.
Okay, I can see that too. And now that it's so fucking big, I feel corny for liking it.
Right?
And I'm mad about it. Like I have this shit. I bought these fucking like 5-6 years ago. I had these motherfuckers. I like supporting local art too. So, but yeah, it drives me nuts. Like, oh man, am I lame?
Am I basic?
Am I a fucking loser?
We were at Target yesterday, and I always like check out the book section because they've got a pretty good and big book area at Target. And I walked past like where the like like the baby books were, like the board books and stuff. And there was the Office book for like a picture book of The Office, and I was like
For coloring or for?
No, like it was like a story for little kids, like yeah, like a Dr. Seuss, like in that area. And I was like, it was supposed to be them in kindergarten or something, like a kindergartner version of them all. I was like, that's not for your kids, that's for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a weird piece of merch right there.
But if I bought Charlie the Choo Choo for my kid,
you might also have to buy them therapy.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's just my bloodline. That's just innate in having the Larmer name, you know. Charlie the Choo Choo or not, you're gonna need to see a quack one of these times, you know.
Though I can't think of his real name, but the guy who played Ryan.
Yes. Yeah.
He actually did write a children's book.
Yeah.
That I really like. I've bought it for a few friends for like baby showers and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like the book with no pictures or something like that. I can't remember what it's actually called, but like it's something along those lines.
Yeah.
And it's very cute and funny.
I want to see his new movie. Actually, you seen when he like wrote and produced and directed an
I hadn't heard
accident?
about that.
He's basically like a true crime podcaster.
Oh yeah.
And he's going down to like Texas to find some. I think it was like one of his listeners ends up getting fucking killed or something like that.
Oh.
And he's going down there to talk to him, and he's like the whole like shtick is that he's a big city guy in small town Texas, right? And it's kind of like it's so weird. How do I put this? Since we are from small town America, and we know these views of like big city people, that it kind of just grosses me out.
Yeah.
And then seeing people that I enjoy play to that ideology, and like that is the joke, is that he is this big city kid, and that he
it's
doesn't
kinda like
get
making fun
small
of
town
himself.
life. You know, you got to come out here and work hard. You know, it's like, it breaks my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, but I do want to see it because he did like he's multi. Oh no, what's the name? You like can do multiple things.
Oh, I don't know. He's very talented though.
Yes, and he has multiple titles in this movie. You know, like producer, writer, director, actor, whatever the fuck it is.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I wanna see it just to.
I'll definitely have to look that up.
Yeah.
We actually watched a thing about like a true crime podcast the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It was also kind of like a comedy show. My wife has watched most of it. I've just kind of watched a few episodes with her.
Yeah.
But it's called like Only Murders in the Building.
Okay.
And it's like Steve Martin, and I can't remember the other two. But they are all people living in the same apartment building, and they like true crime podcasts. So they decide to start one.
Yeah.
And then they get like caught up in a investigation that's like there's been a murder in their building, like somebody else that lives in their apartment building. And so they decide our podcast, let's turn our podcast into us investigating it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty funny.
And was it told through? Is it told through like podcast form or?
It's like a sitcom on Hulu.
God, see that. I think we're missing out on a lot of content ideas by not just turning things into fictional podcasts,
right?
Scripted podcast. Rainn Wilson has a scripted podcast.
Yeah.
That was actually it was called like a. God damn it!
Kind of like an audio drama type.
Yes, that's what it was. But it was just a podcast.
Yeah.
I think they actually kind of said it was a radio show instead of that, but it was. That's all it was.
Podcasts are radio now.
God, yeah, an audio drama is the way that you could really look at it. I think that there's a lot of people missing content ideas in that you could just, if you could just flip that and tell it all through podcast story and like even have it presented and put out as like found footage.
Yeah.
God, that's some fucking content idea for somebody that wants to do something.
I know that Spotify recently did like a. I only listened to part of the first episode, and then I kind of forgot to go back and listen to it because it's only on Spotify, and I don't like their podcast player thing.
It's kind of nasty, ain't it?
Yeah, like,
I'm a bigger fan of Apple Podcasts.
right. And I use Podcast Addict, and I just like all the stuff that it has better. But they did one that was like a Batman, like a licensed Batman audio drama.
That's really cool.
They kind of took a weird spin on it because you'd kind of think like, okay, this is DC podcast or DC Comics, like first like podcast audio drama radio play kind of thing. Let's just tell like a normal, like a kind of safe but fun story.
Yeah,
like just a story about Batman. Bruce Wayne isn't Batman. It's like an alternate universe thing where his parents didn't die. He grew up to become like a in this first episode, he's like just a mortician. Like he's investigating a body of somebody who, like he's doing like a autopsy.
So billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne becomes a mortician.
Yeah, like instead of becoming a billionaire playboy, he just he's a kid who has rich doctor parents and becomes a rich doctor man himself.
Okay, so they're not like the Waynes of Gotham in this
well,
universe.
I mean, I think in like comic lore, Thomas and Martha Wayne were both like involved in medical stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they never got killed, and so he just grew up having a happy little rich kid life and went to medical school like they wanted him to. But I mean, it's called Batman something, so I'm sure that he eventually becomes Batman.
Oh, so it just starts off as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, like it's just Bruce Wayne's this.
I thought you were saying like Gotham is just supposed to create Batman.
Oh no!
Like no matter if it's Bruce Wayne or not, Gotham is destined to have a Batman.
I would love that. Actually,
like it's some kind of weird fate thing with Gotham. It has to have a Batman.
Every universe there is a Batman, whether or not Bruce Wayne becomes him or not. We have to have one.
Oh God,
like that,
that's like a Batverse, like the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
No matter who it is, you have to have a fucking Batman. All right, we're Gotham, damn it.
Hell yeah.
Tangents.
We're good at those.
I don't know how far we're going to get this episode because we're on a little bit of a time crunch. You do have the time?
It is 4:08.
Okay, cool.
So maybe we can just do chapter 1.
Let's do it.
All right. Yeah, he goes on about how love is boring and love stories are boring.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you spent a lot of time on one, buddy. But he just kind of waxes poetically about how like love is wonderful and great, but it's not super entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think that was like him overcoming some kind of like, where the fuck do I go now?
Right.
Like
It's
just
like, okay,
writers.
fast forward.
Yeah,
Okay.
like okay, so let's get back to the story.
Right.
It's not late enough in the room because I want everything to happen around a certain time of the year.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's roll.
And it is now like around fall or so. So it's getting close to the big ceremony where she's finally allowed to hook up with the mayor. And
Yep.
but secretly they've been hooking up behind everybody's back the whole time. And this is where I got into like them being a little too competent because they're both just dumb, horny teenagers. But they've set up all sorts of like secret codes and stuff, and then been like, no, these codes are not secret enough, or oh, somebody actually might find this out, and so we gotta. This was working perfectly for us, but now we have to switch to something else. And like he kind of goes back and forth between like 5 or 6 different plans. And it all works perfectly for them because they're the smartest little boys. He's just the smartest little boy ever.
Of course.
And so that's where I was talking about them being a little too competent because I was like, I don't believe that.
No.
I was like, it feels like you just didn't want them to get caught. Which, like, yeah, you could have just had them not get caught.
Yeah.
But we come up with this super complicated.
It could have just been dumb luck. It could have been
Yeah.
that people didn't fucking care.
Right.
You know, that maybe she isn't that big of importance in the town.
Right.
You know?
Or like they are just sneaking off and nobody's noticing. Like it's
And I know around harvest,
right.
it's a busy fucking
It
time.
is a busy fucking. They even mention how it's
Yeah.
a busy time.
Yeah, so like people are doing shit. They don't have time to worry about you.
Right. And
Little
like
Dearborn.
the only people who would really be caring what Susan is doing are her aunt and the mayor. And the mayor really doesn't care what she's doing because he doesn't suspect anything from her
No.
until like he doesn't care what she's doing until it's time for her to start doing him.
Yeah.
Like, then he cares. Then he'll care. But like,
Unfortunately.
right now he's like, okay, whatever. I gotta wait.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're really just hiding from Cordelia. And she's an interesting character, but she's not like smart. No. Unfortunately, like but yeah, and so then we kind of got to Cuthbert and Elaine talking and just being very annoyed with Roland, very over him, just being like, we're not doing anything except we're still counting nets. Like we've been told that it's been months and they're still just out there counting nets and fishing supplies over and over again.
That sounds terrible.
And they're like, he's not doing anything except hooking up with his sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
And we just want to move forward with the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so Cuthbert's kind of ranting. And Elaine's just kind of like, yeah, okay, yeah. Like, say something, Elaine.
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
But they try to bring it up with Roland. And they kind of expect him to, like, snap at them.
Yeah.
And he's just like, no, you're wrong. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Which kind of pisses Cuthbert off even more. Because he's like, at least give me a reaction. Damn.
Yeah, motherfucker. Fuck you.
Yeah, right.
I'm sitting here and I've been, waffling over telling you or not. And you're just like, nah. I do like that. Kind of the first like showing of bad luck for this trio is Cuthbert has lost his skull, his rook skull.
Oh, yeah, the rook skull has disappeared.
Just gone, which is no bueno.
Yeah.
If you know anything about telling stories.
Yeah. Yeah. Elaine just kind of teases him for it. He's like, oh, did our watch go to take a nap?
Mm-hmm.
And Cuthbert is like, yeah, haha, that's probably it. But then inside he's like, fuck. I don't know where.
Fuck did this thing go? Yeah.
This is a skull. It didn't just get up and walk away.
Yeah.
Like,
terrible. Not good luck for them.
yeah. But they're also not just like annoyed because they're not doing anything. Cuthbert kind of brings up a point where like we depend on him. You know, like we have guns, but he is our gun, and our gun has kind of been tossed into a body of water. And so who knows if it'll be useful anymore? Who knows if it'll shoot? We can't super depend on it as much as we wanted to anymore. So we're fucked.
I do think that King could have explored that a little more deeply.
Yeah, he only briefly touches on it, but I really liked the comparison and the thought process.
And I think that is a situation that, at least for what I am familiar with, having a friend that is now obsessed over someone, and you're like, okay, but we still have other things that we were trying to do, you know, whatever, however childish it might have been, you know, it might have been high school sports or fucking having a camping, whatever that weekend, whatever it may be, you know.
Right.
I think that would have been something that I just want to stay with Cuthbert, honestly. Like, just keep me here. Let me have some more of this.
Right, and also not only is it, you know, all of that, like the childish like jealousy kind of thing like he talks about, but also their lives are a little bit dependent on him being smart.
Yeah.
And being present.
Yeah, that's
because if they screw up, the big grave hunters could just be like, all right, time to fuck these kids up.
Yeah, and I think that's a good, like, whenever you can bring in real world themes and issues, like having that adolescent, like, jealousy of somebody that's now in young love, or that ignorance, you know, that person that's in love has, and then, like, having to actually mean something in the story is whenever you find magic within a story, you know, because you can connect to real world themes, but also tell an interesting story. Yeah, he should have stuck here. I think that's a well he didn't tap, and I'm mad at him for. I think there's a lot of possibility here.
Right.
They could have had just for good storytelling, you know, for some
absolutely.
tension building and some that would have been more interesting than hearing about putting a red dress on a window, which means meet me behind here and fuck me sideways, you know, like.
And then I want to put up a red flag over here, and if you see that, that means I actually can't today. I'm busy.
Like they could definitely signal boats on which way to go. They know the nautical symbols for flags. But yeah, that's I did want to say that because I think that it was a missed opportunity here. It
Yeah,
was something
definitely.
that could have been written that was interesting.
He definitely tapped into something interesting.
Yeah.
We also do get a little bit of like them mentioning Elaine is starting to have like dreams and like images are starting to come to him while he's asleep. And they talk about like it's the touch, you know, like he's, you know, these aren't just weird dreams that are coming to him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's gonna hopefully play out a little bit more later. That seems interesting.
Yeah, Elaine has the shine or the touch,
Yeah.
is what they call it in Roland's world. So.
You good?
Sorry, yeah, burp.
Oh,
I came way down. I was like,
I just looked at my notes and I heard, and I'm like, uh-oh.
no, it came from like my stomach, my stomach button, my belly button. Jesus Christ.
Stomach button.
Stomach button.
And so they do talk to Roland a little bit, and
Yeah.
I think now is when they come up with the idea of like, he comes up with the idea of like, okay, let's tell them that we're done counting there. It's going to be harvest though, so let's pretend like, oh, these are the places we're going to check next, and give them a list, you know, to give to the sheriff, so that like they're not interrupting anybody's work. People know when to expect them, but they're also being like, well, this way, if they're hiding stuff, they'll be like, oh, we can hide it on these days, and we'll be able to tell. And I don't know, it was kind of a weird chess move.
It's basically just saying like, hey, this is where we're gonna be and when. Hide stuff from us if you want.
Yeah.
Is what was what they're saying in the subtext. So.
And Jonas sees through it, but everybody else is like, oh, these idiot kids, hell yeah, they're just giving us their plans.
Yeah, we go back to Jonas and Reynolds and DePape, and oddly enough, they're playing castles.
They are playing castles.
They have to be. You know, I want to know what this game is. I don't.
Right.
Can you not see the other people's pieces, or is it like fuck a battleship? Like what's going on here? You know, I have no clue.
It's like chess, but but they all look like pawns, and only.
Ooh, you like say on the back, like, it was a knight the whole time, you fucking sucker. God, could you imagine a whole chessboard of just knights? Or I mean, of knights would be crazy too. But just pawns, just going straight. Boring as fuck. Oh. Okay. All right. Yeah. So then we jump to Rhea, right?
Yeah. So Rhea is kind of pissed.
Yeah.
For a few reasons. One, she is pissed that her plan didn't really work. She doesn't know why Susan would have snapped out of it.
Yeah.
Or I think the way she says it is like she disobeyed her hypnotic command. And so she can't figure out why that is. But also because she's mad about that, she's not able to use the ball as much as she wants anymore.
Yeah.
She doesn't have like the willpower, which is what this thing feeds on. And she just, isn't focused, isn't concentrated. And I can't remember. I don't think she resolves that yet. But we do get her just kind of ranting about that for a while.
Yeah.
And she kind of blames it on Musty.
Yeah.
Because...
Of course you're going to kick your cat,
Yeah. Like, he did interrupt her while she was looking through it the last time.
Yeah.
So, obviously, it's his fault that she can't use it now.
For sure.
But also has her very curious about who this Roland guy is. Because maybe he snapped her. Maybe he counter-hypnotized Susan.
Yeah. That there was... Yeah. I think that's... I mean, he did put her under with the bullet trick, didn't he? And
yeah.
Talked to her for a bit. Yeah.
To kind of get her to remember some stuff that she had forgotten about the encounter with Rhea.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that chapter was a whole lot of like, kind of like how they talk about like setup for the real game of castles that they're playing.
For sure. Yeah, they're setting their pieces up.
Yeah, and then once someone makes like the first actionable move, and I've mentioned a few times that I like read the tour.com summaries, like this one person's kind of like blog about their time reading through it. She kind of mentioned like, what if Rhea is like a secret third player in this game of castles, and maybe she'll make the first move and kind of like throw off both sides. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah, for her not having much, her plan didn't do very well.
yeah,
And her still being included in the story.
yeah.
She obviously has the titular item. She has
Yeah.
the glass. You know.
She has the glass,
So-
and she's going to do something for sure.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see what.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It's going to be big, and it's Rhea, so it's going to be crazy.
You have no idea. Yeah. How big is this next chapter? Do you want to try and get through it?
Let me see here.
It's only a couple pages, like less than 20.
Chapter 2, the girl at the window.
Yeah.
Okay.
God. Oh yeah. I think if we actually. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Chapter 2, girl out the window.
Cool. Bro. It's 4:20 right now.
Hey.
Nice. Anyway, so yeah, we go to chapter 2, the girl at the window, and we get another chapter kind of about like time is passing. There's not a lot of action, just kind of talking about how like, you know, it's getting later into the fall. Harvest is really starting to pick up now, so like the town is kind of bustling with activity of people being very busy.
Yeah, it's basically around Halloween time is what
Yeah.
I'm thinking about. They're saying now. I think they call them stuffy men, but it's actually just like a scarecrow.
Yeah,
That's basically what I'm thinking it is.
the stuffy moon. I like it.
Yeah, and they set them up, and it's a festive thing.
Yeah, just like a fun little decoration, kind of like, you know, jack-o'-lanterns and stuff. And the whole harvest festival thing is very much making me think of Arkalala.
For sure, I can see that. Yeah, that's
Because they even talk about like, you know, having food that they only have around then, and like kids winning prizes.
deep
at
fried
carnival
Oreos,
games.
baby.
Yeah.
That's such a cool thing that is like really only prevalent in small towns. About the harvest, festival. It happens in a lot of places. Because
Yeah.
Arkalala is nothing. I
Yeah.
mean, what are we celebrating besides harvest?
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah, we don't really harvest anymore because that's just not a thing for that town.
There's like 5 farmers left in America, so
But that tradition's definitely carried on, and it's just kind of a fun time.
yeah, it's just like state fairs. I think were just harvest times too.
Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, yeah, let's get together and have a whole bunch of food and do silly things.
Yeah.
So
We do kind of get a glimpse of Susan in this first chapter,
Mm-hmm.
not looking forward to the Reap Night.
yeah, I mean, she's
Yeah. She's very much dreading it.
In your
so
mind, is she going to go through with it?
I feel like it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not
okay.
sure.
Does
if-
she think it's going to happen still?
She thinks it's going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Does Roland think so? Because he said he wouldn't share. Or did he just want to be first? And he want to fucking like Neil Armstrong this shit? Or wait, Louis Armstrong,
I think you had it right.
Neil Armstrong is
Yeah.
the astronaut. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to get Jack Nicholson and Jack Nicholas real bad. Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson. When I was a kid, I couldn't
Yeah.
remember which one was which.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. And then we do get another section with Rhea. She's also getting restless. She's getting even more angry that she can't see through it,
Yeah.
or through the ball. And but then she starts to come up with a plan. She thinks, well, I can't do what I want anymore, but maybe I can get back at that little slut, is what she calls her, for not obeying me.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I can't really just go out and tell the mayor, but it might be even more fun to just let her aunt know that she hasn't been quite honest.
Yeah, honest.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah. We jump back to Elaine and Cuthbert waiting for Rusher and Roland to approach, which I don't remember if this is the interaction or not. Do they? We'll go through it.
Let me see here. It's Elaine and Cuthbert. I think this is actually when they kind of like confront Roland and say like, we need to move forward, and then he agrees.
Okay.
I think I got that mixed up with the last chapter,
Oh no, you're fine.
but Yeah, Bert is. I really liked this because Bert was really building himself up for like, okay, this is gonna be a fight. This is gonna be like, I'm gonna tell him that he's wrong,
Yeah.
and he's gonna yell at me, and I'm gonna yell back, and here's all my points I'm gonna make.
Yeah.
And then Roland just listens to him, and instead of fighting back, he just goes, "No, you're wrong," and walks off.
No, that's not how it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't they?
Not what we're doing.
Yeah.
And
Didn't they say like, oh, we need to go and do this? And he's like, okay, y'all two go do it. I'm gonna go and diddle a little bit. You
yeah,
know?
and then I think Elaine kind of like snaps him a little bit. He's like, "No, you're our leader. You're our boss."
Like if you don't, it doesn't matter if you don't win or not. It's what's happened.
Right.
You have your guns. You're a gunslinger. Like they know it, we know it, and you fucking know it. If you just pull your head out of your ass.
He's like, "Yeah, but nobody elected me as leader."
Jesus fucking. Oh,
And like,
punch rolling right in the
I
nose.
was like, "Yeah, well, sometimes you're just a leader. That's just kind of how it happens."
Yeah. Not everything has to be a fucking election
Yeah,
or
like-
set in stone. You know.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be official. It's what's
Jesus.
going on.
Yeah.
So get used to it.
Yeah.
I've very much had that feeling before because like I've been in situations where people are like, "Okay, Jake, you're in charge of us," and I'm like, "No, why am I in charge?
Yeah.
I didn't want to be in charge."
But why though?
Yeah.
Why me?
Right. Like I have this one coworker who we started at about the same time. Like I think I started like maybe 2 or 3 weeks earlier, and they'd always like be like, "Hey, is it okay if I go to lunch now?" Sure, dude. I don't go like
Yeah.
if you're gonna ask permission from anybody, ask permission from them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's weird because I've had that in a few different jobs where they're like, "Okay, yeah, you're in charge." I'm like, "No, I'm a fry cook too. Like, what do you mean I'm in charge?"
Yeah. Don't. Oh man. Extra responsibility without the extra pay.
Yeah.
Hooray!
But they're like, "No, you have to go with us. You have to be the one to present this plan."
Mm-hmm.
Because they also know that you are in charge.
Yep.
It's the vibe you give off.
Yeah.
He's like, "Ugh, fine. You say so."
Go ahead and put the red flag up on the flagpole whenever the wind is blowing from east to west.
Yeah.
She'll know what it means.
Make a mark in the shape of a upside down triangle on the red stone in the town square.
Make a smiley face that's kind of sad, but not trying to show that he's sad.
Right.
You want to see a little bit of pain behind his eyes, but his mouth is smiling. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
She'll know what
But it has
means.
to be very subtle because if other people realize he's sad, then they might be like, "Why is he sad?"
Why is this guy hanging up a flag of a sad guy?
Right.
No.
Why is the little stick man unhappy?
Okay.
But yeah, so he does eventually agree to it, and then he's like, "Okay, fine."
And this is where, God, yeah, this is where they end up going to seeing them playing castles, right?
Yeah, they were
Okay.
playing castles in the last chapter.
Okay.
But they're playing it again because
Yeah.
they really like this game.
Of course.
And also, after we record today, I want to see if I can find like a
What is castles?
fan board game version.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if King put out like a picture book of
Fucking
Charlie the Choo Choo,
Yeah.
maybe he like signed off on a board game version of Castles.
I just wish there's a lot of marketing ideas in this book that you could sell a lot of things for.
Yeah.
Might not be as big as Harry Potter
Right.
and fucking butterbeer and shit like that, but God, there's some marketing opportunities out there.
Yeah. Yes, they go to see the sheriff, and like you had mentioned last time, he is very much fart jokes.
That's what he is. That's his
Like,
whole thing. Yes.
They walk into the into his basically into the jail because they've got like a bunch of people in
dog farts.
Yeah. But he walks out and like
It was Sheriff Avery that ate the dress. That's what it was. We've cracked the fucking code. All right?
But he sees something, or he says something to like Jonas, not realizing that the boys are there, being like, "Oh man, those beans went right through me the wrong way." And he's like, "Oh, sorry, boys. Let me get some decorum." But yeah, he just
So
walks
he's not like playing it up for the boys that he's this dumb fucking hick. That's just who he is.
He just really likes talking about his bowel movements. He,
Oh my god.
he's like, digestive health is important.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I'm gonna break down that stigmatism about it. Like we're gonna talk about this.
Yeah, Avery's doing the Lord's work.
Yeah.
You know? He's out here.
And they make a big point about talking about this one lady in one of the cells. Like, he spends like a paragraph describing her, and I don't know if it's just like trying to paint the scene or whatever, or if it's somebody who's going to pop back up later.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, this lady sitting in a cell by herself, picking her nose, and she's sitting there in like red underwear or something, and just kind of describes her for a while. So I'm like, okay, I want to keep an eye out for that. It could just be setting the scene, but also maybe this is a character.
I don't even remember who it was.
Okay, so it wasn't important.
So yeah, I don't remember who
he
it
just
was.
spent a lot of time talking about her for some reason. It seemed
Yeah.
And then we, while they're talking, we kind of hop over to Susan, and Cordelia. And Cordelia is starting to get a little suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
She hasn't really had a real reason, other than like she saw them wave at each other one time.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't Roland trying to like blow her a kiss? But he was like,
Yeah, he was, it describes it as like he was trying to blow her a kiss, but noticed that he was being seen, so he like saluted her. Which I just really like the picture of like some little 14-year-old dumbass just like riding past on a horse and being like, "Oh, hello," like
JROTC boys back at it.
he's preparing to be a.
Oh God.
But yeah, Cordelia is starting to get suspicious.
Yep.
Even without Rhea's like intervention that she was planning.
Yeah.
And she does kind of confront Susan about it a little bit. Like, how do you know each other? Why are you waving at each other? Why are you looking at each other?
She's like, I know them all.
And she's
They've
like,
all been from around town.
and she's like, everybody knows them.
Yeah.
They live here now, basically.
Yeah, like they're the outsiders that have been around every day.
Yeah, like it's fall. They've been here since like early spring.
Yeah.
It's not weird that I have ran into them from time to time and wave at them when they wave at me.
Way to play it.
Yeah, like, so she stands up to her aunt a little bit, which is always good to see because Cordelia sucks.
Oh yeah, she's terrible.
Yeah, so then we hop back over. The boys depart after like telling the sheriff and Jonas their plan about like, oh, we'll be counting at these farms at these days. And this is where the sheriff is like, oh, those stupid boys. They just gave us their whole damn plan. And Jonas is like, are they stupid? Or do they think we're stupid?
Yeah.
Because you're being stupid right now, Mr. Sheriff.
Hey, Mr. Fart Boy.
Yeah. Little farty freak.
You frolicking fart freak. Don't like you at all.
Yeah. Avery is a cartoon character. I
For
love
sure.
him. He's so stupid.
He should be like in a melodrama of like this town. You know, if this was a play that was supposed to be over the top, it would. Oh God, yeah. There's Washington Street melodrama here in town. I don't know if you've ever been. It's like a dinner and a play thing.
I've been. I can't remember if that was the exact one, but I've been to one. I've been to one like that as like a work thing. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I went there with my my grandma a couple years ago just because she wanted to see like live theater, and I was like, well, I gotta do one for class, so let's go.
Yeah.
It was a great time. I had
Yeah,
fun.
the one we went to was pretty fun. It was like a Christmas type play because it was like our office Christmas party or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
Yeah. Theater kids, man.
And so the boys are heading back to, their little ranch, and they're in kind of a good mood. And Roland's like, yep, the next move is theirs. We just gotta, stick with our plan and pretend to do what we said we were gonna do, but actually do what we said we were gonna do.
It feels like Roland's going through the motions with all of this. He's not this keen observer that catches things.
Yeah, he really doesn't care as much anymore.
Yeah.
About like the mission. He's like, we got to do it. But Susan. And he's just absolutely thinking about her the whole time he's talking to Bert right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we do get like a little glimpse from Bert being like, this fucking dude, swear to Christ.
He pleads for him to wake up.
Yeah.
At the end of the chapter.
Yeah, I like that. I liked that line. He was like, just please wake up, man.
Wake up before it's too fucking late. Just wake up. You're gonna get us killed,
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna keep making moves, and then our gun's gonna be soaking wet.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I am.
Fucking weirdo. What time you got?
It is 4:36.
Okay. Probably enough for us today.
Yeah.
We didn't get to playing castles. There is some interesting stuff in here. Maybe we'll just like gloss over it whenever we come back.
Yeah.
And we'll read from Roland and Cuthbert up to, is that 5:15 for me? We'll go at least to 8, 10, 9. Taking the Ball, chapter 7. So it'll be another 110 pages in my book.
Chapters 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good to me.
Or 3, technically. We've already read that. You and I have, but they haven't. So, yeah, from 3 to 7.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Cool. Well, this has been the technical difficulties episode and a whole bunch of tangents. Technical difficulties, tangents, and there's another T word there because I like alliteration. I don't know. And toothaches.
Technical troubles, tangents, and
topology. Hey, follow me on Twitter. I've been getting some shit off lately. At redacted_posts. Jake has a Twitter too. Let him shout out.
Yeah, you can follow me at Mr. Jakey Poo. I am on pretty much every social with Mr. Jakey Poo, but I only really use Twitter nowadays.
Twitter's great. Twitter's amazing.
Yeah, it's the best.
If you like curate your followers in such a manner and then start to interact, there's a little bit of algorithm tweaking that happens with Twitter, like showing you stuff like based on your retweets, based on your likes, which I'm fucking loving. Some of the shit that I find like based on your retweets, I'm like, oh my god, I would retweet that, and I do. And then good job.
I also really like that Twitter also has like the ignore our algorithm function and just has the latest feed.
Do you do that?
Yeah, I will use both. I mostly stick with like just the latest tweets thing.
Do you really? Wow.
But no, their algorithm's still pretty decent though.
Yeah, I'll try to avoid a lot of things in there, especially since 45 got the boot. I've really changed my Twitter algorithms.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I've been trying to put out TikToks, but they'll probably be more of a clips thing for other shows. We are going to have actually another show launching, which I haven't even told Jake about, but it's between just Dominican Dagger, a.k.a. Zoe, and I. We're going to be recording some like 30-minute snippets, putting them out. I believe he wants to call it Content Kings. Whatever, it's his show. I'm here for the ride, you know.
Hell yeah.
Just give microphones to people that are in my life that I think are funny. So it's going to be a good time. Also, stick around for another episode by Jordan and I, Atypical Podcast. Probably going to have another one this week. So
Hell yeah.
That should be fun.
Always a good time.
Yeah, we've had some good times with them lately.
Speed bumps a fella.
He is a guy. He's a guy. He's strange, but... And not straight. It's just his opinions and the way he thinks is fucking it's great.
All the respect.
Yeah, it's awesome. But we're gonna be back with this. Hopefully, we can get through this before like actual NFL football season starts, because that'd be great. My Sundays kind of get a little more jam packed whenever I have 9 hours of football to watch a day, you know. But I don't watch 9 hours, but it's always there, so it's gonna be on like, oh, football, hooray, you know. Yeah, look at it. It's gonna. Okay, I have some jokes to make, but I'm not going to because we're running out of time. Yeah, thank y'all for sticking by. I'm actually in the process of making an outro. I'm gonna start queuing too, which should be fun.
Nice.
You got anything else to say? I think I went through the ramble.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Toodles.
Yeah. And what really sucks is I gotta go all the way over there, turn off this fucking show because I left my mouse.
So I get to make awkward eye contact while you do that.
Just stare him down.